Under Alabama law, there are certain reasons why you can get divorced. One of those is called adultery. Now, I know that's kind of an old-fashioned word. It simply means if you're cheating on your spouse. Now, it doesn't mean if you're texting another individual. It doesn't mean if you're even, going to dinner with somebody. Cheating and having an adulterous relationship is having sex with somebody. If you're doing that, it can absolutely have an effect on the way that the court will distribute the assets in your case. Our courts are courts of equity, which means they're trying to make a fair decision for both parties involved. And if you have wrongdoing in your relationship that can be documented and proven to the court, that can have a negative effect on your distribution of property or assets in your marriage. So what does that mean in the practical effect? What is the impact of adultery or cheating on the distribution of assets in your marriage? Well, if the judge finds that you have done wrong in your marriage, cheating or anything else, the judge can use that to essentially penalize you and can award a larger share of your estate to your spouse in the divorce. So you can have a negative impact. So make sure that if you're going to do this, you understand there can be negative effects financially in the distribution of assets in your marriage. Here's what we see sometimes. A husband, sorry to put you guys on the spot, but a husband has a girlfriend and he's spending money on trips or even sending money on OnlyFans to this girl, or maybe he's sending jewelry or flowers or buying a hotel room for them to go to. And then in the divorce action, he wants to complain about, Judge, I can't afford to pay alimony. I don't have enough money to do it. Well, I promise you, those things are going to come out in trial. There will be a negative impact because the judge can see that you really do have money, you're spending it in ways you should not be, and then that money could be awarded to your wife because you say, I don't have it, and the judge says, I know you do. I see it being spent here in black and white. All those things can be traceable. Your Cash App, your payments through other payment applications can all be traced. Even if you're old-fashioned, your bank accounts, checks, everything except cash can be traced. And if you have big withdrawals of cash, that's going to draw big questions too. So keep in mind, if you are cheating on your spouse, and it can be documented, and there are things that are going to be shown where you're spending money elsewhere, that can negatively affect you because that money you're spending could have gone to your children, could have gone to your home, could have gone to your spouse, and the judge will know these things and may very well take that into account when they're deciding how to divide up the financial assets in your family. So I know people. In our human nature, we tend to compartmentalize things, and you think of yourself as a father, you think of yourself as a husband, you think of yourself as a boyfriend, and we have all these different areas that we kind of compartmentalize ourselves. And when you're cheating on your spouse, you think of that in one bucket over here, and you think that doesn't have any impact on how you parent your children. The truth is, when that can be proven to the court, so many times the judge may take your actions into account about whether or not you should have primary custody of your children. Sometimes if you've made really foolish decisions, it can even affect whether or not you're going to get unsupervised visitation with your children. There have been many times that we see people, husbands or wives, who will enter into a new relationship, and then they will eventually, sometimes even quickly, take their children around those other individuals. They'll say, this is mommy's friend. Look, your kids know it's not your friend. Your kids are smarter than you think they are, and they know what's going on. The other parent's going to know what's going on, and the judge will very quickly see what's going on and could use that in making a determination about whether or not you should have sole, primary, joint, or even limited visitation with your children. Very important to keep that in mind, that your actions in one part of your life have an effect on another part of your life. Did you know cheating in your marriage can have an effect on whether or not or how much the judge is going to award alimony to your spouse? A couple of ways that it specifically relates to cheating. Number one, when a judge finds that one party has had some wrongdoing in the marriage and that your wrongdoing contributed to the breakdown of your marriage, that is absolutely a factor the judge may consider when trying to determine whether you should pay alimony and how much. And talking about how much, we go to the second factor. A person's ability to pay also comes into consideration when you're talking about how much alimony should be paid. If you've been spending a lot of money on your boyfriend or your girlfriend, or even on online relationships with people that may not really even exist, then you know that money is available for your family. And if the judge knows you have the ability to pay that money because you've been wasting it in the court's eyes over here on this other issue, that could be a factor in the judge determining whether or how much alimony you're going to pay as a result of your cheating. Now, whereas your adulterous relationship may have an effect on an award of alimony, it really won't have any substantial effect on child support. The only way it could affect child support is if the judge takes your cheating and then makes that a reason to award the other parent custody of your child, then of course you're going to pay child support. But in any other situation, it's not going to in any way affect the amount of child support to be paid. Alabama has very strict child support guidelines that determine how much you're going to pay based on your income, the other parent's income, the number of children you have, and a couple of other minor factors. But for the most part, adultery or cheating won't have any effect on the amount of child support you're going to pay. So here's Christopher Word giving you one tip about cheating. Probably not what you expected to hear. First one is going to be, don't do it. But second of all, if you have done it, the truth is you cannot unwind that clock. You can't undo anything that's happened. If it's happened, you need to make sure above all, you're honest with your lawyer, because I promise you, there's going to be proof that comes out in court. And if we know that and we can confront it and we can deal with it, that's the best way to get around these issues and to have them have the least impact on your divorce possible.